the rest of the market. So that alone is going to have somewhat of a correction, and then the market corrects, 90%, and you have to account for these things. But when you consider the APY that we're paying out, the daily ROI, we are blowing other projects out of the water, and that's even with us, kind of taking a step back to really work on building utility and doing the groundwork for the next major push. So I'm confident in DRIP. I've always been confident in DRIP. I know DRIP is fundamentally sound, unlike a ton of other projects. And that's another thing. So, it's painful when I saw projects like garbage projects like Elephant and some of these other and Algo Stablecoins and Luna and and Spell and these other projects that did 300x and 100x and all this stuff when they were fundamentally unsound, and anybody who took the time to understand these protocols knew they were fundamentally unsound. But some of these communities specifically targeted us and were promoting a sell your drip for our product. Use your drip ROI to buy our product. And from the start, these products were fundamentally unsound. I warned people, these products are fundamentally unsound. There's major issues with them. Stick with what you know. Stick with what you know is fundamentally sound. Stick with developers with solid track records, not developers who have launched 8 projects in the past 2 years, and every single one of them has been exploited. But people want to go to the next shiny new toy. They don't want to buy value. They want to buy hype. And that's how you get wrecked. And that's what happened. And unfortunately, some of that capital came out of DRIP. And hopefully the DRIP community and the DRIP investor base used that as a learning, as a learning opportunity, and became smarter, more experienced investors, and will not fall for this in the next major bull cycle. Now, the reservoir is it's essentially our liquidity provider contract for our native DEX in DRIP. And we are not only creating a new contract for the faucet to incentivize the use of the faucet contract, we are also providing the same new you could call it a utility. It's more like an incentive structure. This new incentive structure to the faucet as well. And the faucet is how we pay our liquidity providers to DRIP on the native DEX. And it's also a form of staking that you can stake BNB and earn BNB. So the way that it works is when you stake BNB into the faucet, it takes half of that BNB that you just deposited, buys DRIP with it, and then pairs that DRIP for liquidity on our native pool. Now, 1% of every swap that takes place on our native DEX, the BNB used for this swap gets paid out to the reservoir, to the stakers in the reservoir. And it's paid out in a form of time-weighted rewards, which means the longer you stay there, the greater share of the liquidity provider fees you get paid, gets allocated to you. And the way that works is when you deposit the BNB, it gets paired with DRIP for you, and then 3% of it gets immediately paid out to the people who are already in the reservoir. 2% gets permanently in the liquidity pool, and then 4% gets put in a time-weighted vault contract that pays out 2% of its balance daily to people in the reservoir. and this 1% liquidity provider fee that's taken from each swap on the native deck goes into this time-weighted vault, and that is also dripped out to the liquidity providers in the reservoir. Because the reservoir is locking up liquidity and giving incentive for multiple people to add liquidity, it decentralizes the liquidity pool. It locks the liquidity pool, and because 2% is permanently locked, that creates a ever-increasing price floor, which essentially prevents DRIP from being able to collapse below a specific price, which is constantly rising. So the reservoir is very important to our native DEX. It's something that was innovative when we built it. It's still innovative because even though there's been some people who are trying to fork DRIP, none of them got all the mechanics. None of them really nailed it. And the reservoir is unique. It's 100% unique to our platform. And the incentive structure that we will be adding through collaboration with some of the new developers that we hired will both be for the faucet and the reservoir. Now, let me just say, I've hired 4 new developers in the past 4 or 5 months. And these are very skilled developers that I've worked with in the past, just to ensure that, because I want to be able to, when we go live with multiple new products. And I wanted to ensure that we could do that on a timely manner. And of course, it's always going to take longer than people would want it to take. People always want things done as fast as possible. And I understand that it's taking a while to do it, but it's really because we're taking this to the next level when we go live. We're not just going live with the same contract with some slight tweak or something like that. We're really coming back with major improvements. Another major improvement that we made to Animal Farm, for example, is that previously the deposit fees, which are generated from the farm, 25% of it was previously going to the liquidity helper contract, and dogs, 3% of every transaction of dogs was going to the liquidity helper contract. And when the BUSD on the contract hit a threshold, it would then pair this BUSD with dogs to add liquidity to dogs. Now, if there was more dogs value on the contract, liquidity helper contract, than BUSD, it would sell a portion of those dogs to create an equal value of both, so it could add all of the liquidity. We adjusted this, so instead of selling those dogs, it burns those dogs. So now the new system can only add buy pressure and only remove dogs from circulation, never sell dogs. So we've made so many improvements, just on the basic contracts and the tokenomics. And on top of this, we added a bunch of new products and a bunch of new functions. And then another thing that I've already spoken to that I don't want to, I don't want to give too much attention to, but it's something that is justified. Some of the developers that I've been working with, I've been working with them for years. And people, when they're working for years and years and years, not everybody can go at the pace that I'm willing to work at for the amount of time that I'm willing to commit. Because of that, I've needed to hire new developers to pick up other people's slack and all this stuff, and that took time. But it's for the better. Like, everything I'm doing is for the better. And remember that the PIX token gets its value from the farm, from being the governance token in the farm. So people that have the PIX token right now, this is a token which represents the future value of the farm. This is your opportunity to invest in the farm, similar to a pre-sale before the product goes live. And a lot of people have an issue with buying value. They want to buy the hype. And when you buy the hype, that's when you end up buying tops. You want to be the one buying value. You want to be the one that's buying picks now when it goes live and it has all these cash flows and all these new use cases, you're not buying into a lower supply of pigs at a higher price. You're buying now from the weak hands who want to sell it to you at a low value. So keep all of that in mind. Now is the time that people win, right? Now is the bear market. Now is when you build and you accumulate. Okay, you can do the next one.
Okay, next question. Can you share any ideas or details about marketing plans that you have upcoming? Specifically, if you're still targeting the Asian markets, what kind of budget, what marketing vehicles are planned, and how long will the push be sustained?
Yeah, so with marketing, I've already kind of spoken to this. We are going to experiment both with using several marketing firms that are prepared right now, that have been spending time preparing for us going live. We're going to experiment with working with one that I feel is the best one and really sticking with them. And we're going to experiment with using a variety of them and kind of contracting them out for specific things and see what works best for us. But I think the major change that you guys are going to see is that we're bringing on professionals for our paid marketing. We're bringing on a team of people who that's all they do is manage marketing budgets and market fintech and crypto projects. And that's going to make a huge difference. And people that know me know I didn't even put a dev fee on Drip. I'm not the kind of person that cares about a large dev fee. I'm someone that wants the project to succeed at all costs. So you can rest assured that any capital that we get that's allocated to marketing will be spent on marketing. And the only reason why we've built up a marketing budget that hasn't all been utilized yet is just a matter of resources, just a matter of I only can do so many things at once, and I'm managing a billion things at once, and this is why we're bringing on a marketing firm to help with that. And it's going to make a huge difference. And integrity is something that's very important to me. It's something that it's not something that I need to really work on because it comes naturally to me, but it's important to me. So it's always it's something that's a given for me. So if there's a percentage of capital allocated to marketing, it will be used for marketing, and a lot of it hasn't been used for marketing yet. We had before V1 went live, we did pay probably like $150,000 for a variety of ads on Dex Tools and a variety of sites, DAP Radar and DeFi Calendar and RugDoc and we got Paladin audits and all of that stuff, which is all very important for promotion and marketing, and it costs a lot of money. But we have a lot of untapped marketing funds that were not tapped just because it takes a lot of resources to properly manage a marketing fund. And I wasn't about to use that capital inefficiently. I wanted to ensure if we're going to use this capital, we're going to use it right. So I wasn't going to just spend it to spend it. But it's all sitting there. It's all in the same account, ready to go for when we go live. And I just want to wait until we have a hard date to start really putting that capital to work. Because I don't want to, waste capital and waste resources and waste exposure on platforms without having a specific date to launch or promote. So that's that. We're gonna, and not only that, building up my team is going to it's going to free up a lot more time for me to be able to do these kinds of interviews and AMAs and stuff like that as well. So right now we're just in full-on grind mode. I'm in meetings all day, every day. Yeah, and I just I'm spending my time in meetings building up the team, setting up opportunities, talking with different developers that I'm working with to make sure everything's built, talking to artists, just talking to auditors, full on grind mode. And that's why I'm not super, active in the chat, because instead of talking in the chat, I'm in meetings and really handling things behind the scenes. But as soon as we have a date to go live, then it becomes my job to be in the chat. Then it becomes my job to be in interviews and doing that kind of thing. So you're going to see a lot more of me.
Excellent. Ray Bartertown, he wants to know if you are, if you're possibly going to have something similar to the new drip incentive for the reservoir, after all using DMP.
Yeah, I just spoke to that. So, Ray is a good friend of mine. I've known him for years, long-time supporter, and he's the man, right? He's done so much good work for us, and he's very, I'm looking for the positive word for unselfish. I'm just drawing a blank on the word, but he's very giving. He's a great person, and I appreciate Ray so much. And to answer his question, yes, absolutely. That's something that I think can further separate us from the half-assed clones and forms that I'm trying to, when I was looking at how we're going to set up the dogs tokenomics, your dogs tokenomics, I was like, all right, let me spend a couple weeks looking at everything that's been launched over the past year, just to try to inspire myself. Maybe I see an idea that was tried by someone that didn't take off because maybe it was done wrong, but it has a seed of something interesting there, or they didn't get the proper promotion behind it, or whatever. Let me just look to see what's out there, what's new, and maybe I can get inspired from it. And literally, the only thing I saw was broken algo stable projects, drip forks, and farms, and miners. And the farms weren't doing anything interesting. The farms were, basically sushi clones that are like 2 years old. None of them doing anything innovative, doing anything original or new. The drip forks are just inferior versions of drip, and then algo stablecoins, which are all going to go to zero. I mean, they're all inevitably going to die, unfortunately. So we had to go to the drawing board and really just inspire ourselves, I guess. And Crypto Mischief, he's another YouTuber, big supporter, and the man. He brainstormed with us, and he was someone that helped come up with the NFT idea. Actually, he didn't come up with the NFT idea. He came up with the dog's tax idea, and then we continued to brainstorm and came up with the idea that the tax acts as a form of vesting. It pays B&B that's generated from the tax to the people who are in the single asset staking pool, earning the B&B and earning the NFTs, which are reducing their tax over time. So it's just it's been a game theory that just really takes our original idea really to the next level. Another thing that I want to bring up, because it's something that's going to be awesome. Our governance pool so what happens with the capital that's rehypothecated, all of the capital that's in the pairs and now the single assets. So previously we were only rehypothecating the pairs. We came up with a model that now allows us to also rehypothecate the single assets, which is going to at least double our the APY that we're generating on the back end for pig pen injections. Now, we earn cake on the back end. This cake gets sold for BUSD. We use this BUSD for marketing and pig pen injections. Now, governance model that we originally developed so people could vote on future partnerships, future tokenomic tweaks, small tweaks, things like this. We have come up with a model that's going to make this governance way more fun and way more attractive. And how we're going to do that is a percentage of the BUSD that's generated from the cake that we're earning on the back end through rehypothecation and selling from USD that will be used for pigpen injections. A small percentage of that, say 5%, will be used as a form of crowdfunding. And what I mean by this is the governance stakers, the people in pigs, will vote on where we stake that 5%. And we will make proposals on various options that people can vote on. And it's a form of crowdfunding where we can take advantage of whatever the hype new thing is. Maybe it's a little bit more of a high-risk model, but this is why we're only using a small percentage, but still a small percentage of, billions of dollars. And we will be staking that capital based on what the governance voters decide we will stake it in. And then that yield that we earn from there will be used for pigpen injections. So we'll have, I would say probably bi-monthly or maybe once a month, have a vote of the governance model to decide where we're going to put a percentage of the BUSD that is allocated for pigpen injections. And it could be anything from, the latest AVAX node or a new product that PancakeSwap just launched. Really, we can be flexible with it. So that's going to be, I know that's going to be a ton of fun as well. And we already have that built because we already have the governance system built. It's just a matter of using it for that. So that's another thing that is going to be very exciting that we can utilize when the farm goes live. When we go live, we're about to hit people with a new product and something awesome and new every couple weeks. And this is why we spent a few months really putting in the work. So that's all. So it's all finished and developed. So when we go live, we can hit people with something new every couple weeks. That's super bullish because we know it's already done. It's already built, ready to go.
All right. So Pro Bitcoin wants to know whatever happened to the. We were supposed to get our own DEX on the official website. Is that still in the plans?
There is a DEX on the Drip website.
No, not on the farm. I mean, the animal farm.
So people, so currently on I don't know what he means by his own DEX. It was never an idea that we're going to build a whole DEX. There's no reason for us to build a whole DEX. What we have is the ability for people to add liquidity and buy our native assets without leaving the site. And we've implemented the ability for people to add liquidity. And in fact, I'm not sure if we've updated the ability to buy the native assets from the site, but that's something that we've already built. I'm just not sure if we've implemented it or not yet. But because I have, there's so much in development right now. But there's no, you don't want to try to do everything at once. So there's no reason for us to launch our own DEX because we want to be on the DEX where the volume is. We want to be on the DEX where the buyers are. The only way I would ever build our own DEX is if we could make significant improvements and innovations to the current decentralized exchange model. And I do have ideas for how we could do that. But that's a major thing. That's not something that you just do. So that's not, That's not something in the works. We're not trying to build our own DEX. What we do have is the ability for people to add liquidity to PancakeSwap on our native UI without leaving the site, and that has, I know that's already been pushed to the site, and also the ability to buy our native assets on PancakeSwap without leaving our site. And that's something that I know is built. I don't know if we pushed it to the site yet, but that's what we're doing. Building our own DEX is not bullish. That's we want to be on the DEX where all of the trading is happening, and unless we're doing something that is going to be a major improvement to the current DEX model, and if that's the case, then that's its own major thing. That's not something that we just do as a side thing on the farm. And if we did do that, that wouldn't be bullish, right? That would we would get less volume, less traffic doing it that way. That's one of the things. This is one of the reasons why we started off with our native DEX for Drip, because we implemented all kinds of things with Drip that we couldn't get with PancakeSwap, but we ended up getting liquidity on PancakeSwap anyways, because when you try to get on CoinMarketCap, when you try to get on CoinGecko, when you try to get on DAppRadar and all of these sites, they're pulling data from PancakeSwap and they're pulling data from Uniswap, and to get them to implement data from a native DEX is a big deal, and that takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, and it's really only worth doing if it's a major product. So if we were going to revolutionize the DEX model, then yes, but no, I think that's just a misunderstanding of what we were trying to do and what we're doing.
Next question. On the upcoming farms, can you start us salivating a little and building anticipation by giving us some possible introductory interest rates? And what, if any, time lock lengths are you considering for them? Anything said here would be really helpful. In personal financial planning, so we are having a good day. That's from Crypto Tony.
Yeah, so because we are not crediting people to the farms and pools themselves, that means it's going to start off fresh. And that means high APYs, right? That means we're going to start off with very high APYs because it's like a brand new farm going live. And we're crediting people the dogs to the single asset dog staking pool. So that's the way it's going to work. It's going to be very high APY, and we're not adding time locking to any of the farms and pools. What we're doing is implementing a tax model that acts as a form of vesting, but doesn't prevent people from selling. It just generates a tax that pays out BNB to people that are holding and staking, and to the pig pen, and then over time, the people who are staking and earning that BNB are also reducing their tax, essentially reducing their vesting model. So, we for the pigs, we are making some changes as far as, for example, with the game. When you cash out, so the game, the way that the pig pen game is working is when you deposit into the game, you're depositing pigs. It's staking those pigs on your behalf. Now, the pigs and BUSD that those pigs that have been staked on the player's behalf in the game is being used as the pot. So once a day, the game is depositing on behalf of everybody and withdrawing the available pigs and withdrawing the available BUSD. But to ensure the game isn't draining and putting pigs in circulation, when people go to cash out of the game, the BUSD that they cash out of the game goes to their wallet. The pigs that they're cashing out of the game goes into their pig pen stake, and then is subject to the same vesting as a normal pig pen stake. And this is just to ensure that people can cash out BUSD out of the game without trading pigs from the pen if you don't want to. So there are, of course, vesting models with pigs and dogs. We went with a way better alternative, I feel, than to vesting, because instead of just locking people up, we're giving them more options. But also, the most bullish part is generating a ton more capital for people who don't dump early.
Rad Dad wants to know, if you could start everything from scratch, what would you do differently and why?
Oh, well, there's a few things that I would do, which we've done in V2. One of them is that I would add flexibility to change the back-end staking contract for the lending, the rehypothecation. The reason why we didn't do that initially is because the auditors wanted to give us a hard time about it. Because, there's, if you could change that, then you could change it to, for example, one of the developers' wallet. I could change it to my wallet or whatever the case may be. Now, the thing is, it makes no sense to do that, because if I was to do that, first of all, everybody would see me doing that, and it would also only allow me to access a portion of the capital that, of course, everybody else would withdraw, and it would wreck the project, first of all. So there's no incentive for me to do that. Secondly, what we've done is added a multi-signature model now, where I'm the only one who has the access to change the back-end staking, but to do it requires the signature of multiple developers. So now we've secured it in that way as well, and also we've limited it to only be able to update to PancakeSwap type lending contracts. So I would say one thing we would do is add more flexibility, and of course, sometimes auditors, they want to give you a hard time about adding more flexibility, but there is a way to do it and still be secure, just as secure as if you didn't have the flexibility. And I mean, in the big picture, look at these auditors. I'm really someone that is not a big fan of auditors, because I see one project after another get audited and exploited. And they're exploited by the most obvious, simple stuff that I see before they even contract. Before I even see the contract, I just hear what the project is, and I'm like, that's exploitable. The logic for that is all messed up. How is that not exploitable? And then I look at the contracts, oh yeah, that's exploitable. Also, they've been audited 3 times by 3 major auditing firms. And then I go tell the developer, hey, I just want to let you know, I was looking at your project. I believe it's exploitable because of this reason, this reason, this reason. And then half the time they tell me, no, it was audited. They say that it's secure. And I'm like, all right, man, whatever. Okay, I'm not going to argue with you. Fine. And then a month later, they get flash loan attacked and their whole treasury gets drained. This has happened over and over and over again. From lottery projects that I reached out to algo staking coins that I've reached out to, over and over again. All of them were audited. So audits, yes, they're helpful, but at the end of the day, the logic of a skilled developer who has the best intentions for their investor base is going to go way further than any auditor who really has the incentive to just grind out as many audits as possible and is using automated scripts to audit these contracts and not even considering the logic of the systems that they're auditing, or how someone could potentially use the contracts in a way that's not intended, and so there's that, right? Being doing what I know is correct and adding the flexibility that we need. Even if an auditor is going to give us like a hard time about it, of course, there's technical issues where, yes, if an auditor gives us a hard time about a specific technical issue, that's completely understandable. That's something that we need to fix. We've never had that happen. right? Because first of all, one of the developers that I brought on did quality control for Certic for years, and he has extremely high incentive for the projects to be secure, unlike a lot of the auditors that are just doing it just because it's another job for them. Also, the people that I'm working with are very skilled. I'm someone that has very good. I'm very good at breaking up the logic of systems and looking for potential issues with them. So there's that. There's adding the flexibility where we know we need the flexibility to make updates and improvements and adjustments. And then there is
Not sure what happened there.
Not sure what happened there.
Trying to get back in there. So if this is your first time hearing Forex speak, his voice is what's the word I want to use? Indistinguishable, I guess is the right word. Once you've heard him, you know nobody could ever impersonate him, let alone with the knowledge, but just his voice is very, very distinctive. They're trying to get us back into the video chat and Telegram.
Well, the beers from earlier help. I don't think that was useful.
Anyhow, folks, well, so you get to hear that excitement that we have for all of us that's been in Drip for a while. Even if this is your second one, then you know what's to come. I could care less. Let Drip. I'm going to be buying some more Drip and get all the rest of my wallets up. May even just create a new one. Man, it's just so many options and so many things I need to do. I'm trying to stay in sequence. My biggest thing I'm trying to do is ensure that I get the Mission Possible series completed today, because the first one's going to be out tomorrow. And then for the next 7 days, we'll get a new video in the series. I'm excited for you guys. I'm excited for the protocol. I'm excited for the community. I am so ready. And like I say, I'm just loading up. It's because right now it's more like a slingshot or a rubber band. Right now it's just getting drawn back. As we get drawn back, we go down in the price. Because like I say, Drip can double in 3 or 4 days. So that's not even the point. But it's just, it doesn't take long. So we can go from $7 to $25 in 2 days, if not 1 day. That's easy. And I'm just waiting patiently, accumulating, compounding, and hydrating. I'm looking to make sure that Forex is still even in the chat. I don't even see Forex in here anymore. So the first part of the chat was mainly Forex discussing, all the things that's happened before. About a lot of it we already knew. The team airdrop ability in the new Drip UI. You do is filter, select who you want, the amount, hit one button, it'll airdrop to that whole team that you select. And he spoke about the new contract and the new contract for Drip. the drip faucet and how he somehow is going to have a reward structure. And he wants to make it so that the deposits will be more attractive. But there's no mechanics of the faucet that will be changed. And of course, it's working like clockwork, doing exactly what it's supposed to do no matter what. Pay out the 1% per day up to your 365%. And like you said, once you start calculating that 1% and 365, it's thousands of percent, especially the way that we go about hydrating for a certain amount of time. Anyhow, so back again to the Mission Possible series. This one is totally different. I haven't done one like this before. And like I say, I try to give you guys something unique because I don't want to be the same as all the other YouTubers. Just like no other YouTuber at all, nobody in Drip, period, has discussed a wallet for their kids. I know at one point there was one of the other Drip team leaders was saying, oh, no, it's not good to have up multiple wallets. It's not good for the contract. That's just ignorance. If I wanted 50 wallets, I could have 50 wallets and I pay 50 wallets worth of gas. It is what it is. How does that does not hurt the protocol? Even if I wanted to max out 50 wallets, Drip is getting what it's supposed to get. It's getting the taxes when I hydrate, claim, deposit. It doesn't even make any sense. That's why I'm saying it's an individual endeavor. I'm going to do exactly what I want to do. And like I said, no one else had even talked about and still haven't talked about a wallet for their kids, let alone the grandkids. Now, I know some of you guys that are listening have already done it. So kudos to you. Like I said, how are you not going to take care of your family? You can do your kids' college fund, summer vacation fund. Whew, man, it's just so much. Anyhow, and that's why I wanted to create this series, like the What's Next. Nobody had done the What's Next series, which I'm going to continue. It's just, I want to have something different. Like I said, I'd like to hit 1,000 subscribers so then I can do a poll. But so in the meantime, since I can't do a poll, I'm giving what I would have liked to have received, I guess, in the beginning, especially when it comes to crypto, because it's so much, so fast, things change. And that, okay, when you start taking your profit, what do? You just don't take the profit just to take it out. So that's why I'm saying that series, What's Next, was, that's when we had Nexo before the government decided to.
Yeah, I guess someone closed the chat. I don't know.
Okay, Forex is back.
My apologies, I don't know. When I find this call, they'll tell me.
I don't know where I was when it was closed, but probably talking about things I've learned. So I went on talking. I was talking for at least 5 minutes after it closed.
Sorry. All right, well, this one is a popular one. A bunch of people asked if you could partner with any DApp right now, which one would it be? Is there anything on your wish list? Any companies you want to invite?
We got them. We already got them.
That's cheating. You already have Chainlink.
No, but they're trash. Like literally, I cannot think of one solid project out there that is
worthy.
EVM based, right? Of course, there's some projects with their own chains that have their own utility that you couldn't do on the Ethereum network, that kind of thing. But no, I mean
exactly. None of them were worthy of Drip.
A Pancake Swap. I would partner with Pancake Swap. I would partner with Chainlink. That's it, man. I don't see anybody doing anything interesting. That's honest. It is what it is. Like when I look, I literally just spent the last 2 weeks going over everything that's been launched in the past year, and it's literally broken. Algo